Hi, this is Daniel Hutchins, and today we're going to be talking about an article from our friend Cinema Blend. So today from Cinema Blend, we're going to be talking about what's going on with Nick Fury. So what has Nick Fury been up to since Avengers Endgame? Well, that's a really good question, and we are going to try to find that answer. So this was from 2 days ago. So it's very recent. So Phase 4 MCU is in full swing. Now that some TV shows and movies are in this era have came out, it's becoming clear what some of these big threats to look out for would be. Still, despite receiving some answers to the handful of lingering mysteries from post-Avengers Endgame, we still don't know a lot about what's happening with key characters like Nick Fury, who has returned to life with the rest of the dusted fourth Avengers movie and seen attending Tony Stark's funeral. Okay, so we do have a little go on. Of course, thanks to Spider-Man Far From Home, which was another movie we saw him from, but as the story of Phase 4 is filled out, the explanation has only gotten more confusion. So, more for those who may not or need a refresher on what Samuel L. Jackson's Nick Fury's up to, let's revisit what some of those things are and speculate a bit further on where he's going to the future. So where Nick Fury's currently at. Okay, so Nick Fury was last seen from Spider-Man Far From Home, like I had aforementioned, but though not quite as much as it had appeared. It's revealed that at the end of this movie that Nick Fury and Peter has dealt with was not the Nick Fury at all, but the Skrull Talos in disguise. As for where the actual real Nick Fury was, he's up in space with a lot of other Skrulls and checking out this photorealistic photos of beaches. Okay, so Wanda Vision featured another brief scene which seemingly referenced Nick Fury after Monica Rambeau was approached by a Skrull towards the end of the series. She was asked to travel to space to talk to her friend or her mother, and Marvel fans are aware that Monica's mother was friends with Nick Fury. It would appear he's in the process of recruiting help from his space project. Well, what exactly is this space project? I don't know. But, okay. So, why is Nick Fury in space? Okay, Nick Fury's in space, and based on what we know about his character from the past, he's someone who likes to be prepared for many threats. Or any threats. This leads to the assumption that Fury felt it's pertinent to keep an eye on space rather than Earth. But when Loki teased immediate trouble in the multiverse, it kind of throws off a wrench on the theory. If Nick Fury is aware of the multiverse and the threat it could cause, one would assume he wouldn't be isolated with a bunch of aliens in space. With that being said, it's not as though this world is infected with Marvel Cinematic Universe can only deal with one crisis at a time. There could be major issues with invading universes, but that doesn't mean that Nick Fury doesn't have to have his eye on different major threats approaching Earth. It does, after all, have his own series in his own way called Secret Invasion, which is actually going to be coming in a couple of years anyway. But, so, is this all the space business tied to this? Well, if so, that would explain all the Skrulls. Given that the original Marvel Comics story featured the Skrulls slowly taking over the identities of heroes that we know. Another possibility and explanation for why Fury wanted Monica Rambeau was that this was the slow build to the next Captain Marvel movie, The Marvels. If the MCU had two crises from once, it's feasible that at least one of them could be handled by one of the most powerful heroes currently in the cinematic universe, Captain Marvel. Now, perhaps Fury's keeping a watchful eye on whatever's off in distance and hoping that Captain Marvel and her allies of the past, present, and future can deal with whatever is coming. Is anyone else working with Nick Fury? Now, Talos and the Skulls are clearly working under Nick Fury's direction. But I started wondering recently, are there other ones? Or are they the only ones? We know that Nick Fury has a good relationship with Captain Marvel. She was seen communicating with Wong from Shang-Chi and the Legend 10 Rings. Now, if Carol and Wong are in frequent communication, then would it be crazy to assume that Wong has kept in touch with Fury? It's possible, but I don't know. I don't think so. I almost have to believe that Wong may have been handed the keys to the kingdom in terms of wrangling superheroes. There was something about that post-credit scene from Shang-Chi that felt very similar to what Nick Fury began his work from the Avengers initiative. But someone has to do the grunt work while Fury's in space. And based on what we've seen from Spider-Man Far From Home, Talos isn't exactly the best man for this job. Now, Wong could certainly be the next Fury, if that's a title that needs to be filled. Yeah. So the biggest question may be whether or not there needs to be a replacement for Nick Fury. Because, despite numerous problems on Earth, Fury doesn't seem to want to leave his space station. At least anyway. And he hasn't done so yet. And given the various travel methods in the Marvel Cinematic Universe to get to and from space, he couldn't make return trips back and forth if he had to. Of course, it's completely possible Fury has been back and forth between Earth and space. We just never saw it from the screen. So this line of question ultimately just brings us back again to the big question we don't know the answer to. What the hell is he doing up there? Ultimately, I'm assuming the one thing we need for the answer is time. The MCU will likely do a check-in with Nick Fury in the Marvels, and if not, we know there's a Secret Invasion show he's guaranteed to be in. It doesn't seem as though he'll be in Eternals, Spider-Man No Way Home, or Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, even though, who knows, given all the imbalance in the multiverse, I'm not ruling out the possibility of seeing a Nick Fury, which should eventually bring on the actual Nick Fury to come face and face with his doppelganger. Okay. Related to this article is 2021 new movie releases, the full movie's release date schedule. We're not talking about that, we're talking about something else. So, we'll likely get some answers on Nick Fury soon. But until then, stick around with us on Cinema Blend for more news happening in the Marvel Universe. For example, Andrew Garfield keeps denying he's in the upcoming Spider-Man. But should we believe him? Well, okay, so that might have been a topic I might have already talked about, and if I did, check it out on the channel. But anyway, if you guys like this content about what's up with Nick Fury, please leave a comment down below, leave that thumbs up, and have a wonderful, wonderful morning. And I'll see you in the next uploads. Bye.